家好，欢迎来到微光古乐集的名家访谈系列。今天很开心，我们可以介绍到 Sigiswald Kuijken 大师。那 Sigiswald 他是古乐复兴运动中重要的领航人。那他无论是在推广古乐技法，像是小提琴无间电 chain off 的夹琴技巧呢，以及使用仿古乐器演奏之外呢，他在学术研究上有很大的贡献。那另外呢，在栽培年轻音乐家更是不遗余力的倾囊相授。现在呢，我们位于意大利的距离罗马车程约2个小时的小镇 Collevecchio 中的圣安德烈修道院。那为什么我们在这边呢？因为 Sigiswald 他每年都会在夏天的时候举办 Summer Academy， 在这边呢为期12天的一个音乐营中，我们会密集的排练很多的乐团的曲子，还有室内乐，还有歌剧的曲目。那最后呢，我们会在教堂有4场的音乐会。So, Sigiswald, thank you for taking your time to interview with us. First, I want to ask you. As we know, you are the pioneer of early music revolution. So what made you want to start on this? And is there any difficulties during that time and now also?
Well, I started this without knowing that I started it. I had no intention. I was very young, 6, 7, 8 years. And by any kind of a chance was introduced in the family some kind of copy of medieval early Renaissance instruments, and I started to play on those little instruments being very young. Before I played even violin, I played on this little thing which was like kind of a distant gamba, but it was, like you say, medieval fiddle.
Yeah.
And those people, well, we had a little bit of music of the early Renaissance, like Josquin des Prés, or a bit later Renaissance, Orlando di Lasso, and so duets, and I played this, and I tried to play everything. Also, I tried to play music which my mother had next to the piano. There was a pile of music, you know, like the theme of Don Giovanni Menuetto, or the theme, or the Pastoral Symphony, and I tried to decipher, to figure out all this on that little instrument. And then only later, when we moved to Bruges, to the city of Bruges, I went to conservatory. And then they said, well, you should learn the violin. And I did, okay, thank you. But, and I loved the violin as well. But the old kind of music, the medieval and the Renaissance thing, went on in my heart, in my mind, very strong. And I did double track. I did my thing, which was this old thing as a child, and also the conservatory.
Okay.
So we did 2 things at once, but I did not speak about my thing in the conservatory.
Okay. So you discover your things.
Yeah, so I did my thing, and my brother Wieland also, we did this kind of Renaissance, and then it became Baroque and so on, without any influence of the conservatory.
Okay.
They did not, because in the conservatory they would not know what it was. It was completely unknown and taboo in the conservatory. So there was no way of talking about this in the conservatory. It was no problem. We didn't talk. We did just autodidact, our own way. And that's what we developed. That was one track of our life. The other track was conservatory.
Okay, so you decide your way to go this way too?
Yeah, well, we did both, because I played modern violin, and then when I came out of the conservatory in Brussels, I played also avant-garde music, like Schoenberg and Webern and Bourgeois and Luciano Berio, all these kind of things. But that was also, in the conservatory, was taboo.
Yeah.
Nobody spoke about that. When I got my diploma in 1966, I got my diploma in Brussels. I learned only violin technique and romantic repertory, but I did not learn ancient music, and I did not learn avant-garde music. But when I left conservatory, I did only ancient music and avant-garde music.
Okay.
It's just what I did not learn, I did as a profession.
And the next question is, can you tell us more about your band, the Petite Bande, and also the Summer Academy now we have?
Yeah, well, the Petite Bande started without start. We existed before we existed. I mean, the first time we came together was in 1972, but there was no name for the orchestra. It was just, I was asked by Gustav Leonhardt to put people together to perform and to register, to make a recording of a Lully or gentilhomme. And so they needed an instrument, a group of ancient instruments, violins mainly, who would play in the ancient technique, which I had just started then. So I brought my students and some other people who could just adapt more or less. And we made that recording, and only at the last note, after the last note of the music, they asked, now we need a name for the ensemble. And I had never thought of it.
So before you just
no, I didn't care about. I thought it was only one recording, and then no future. And I thought, okay, I was nice recording. And then they said, how shall we call the group? And Leonhardt said, oh, let's call it La Petite Bande, because in Versailles, Louis XIV, La Petite Bande was the kind of the choice of the best musicians at court. You had La Grande Bande, the great band of all the musicians together. There were more than 100, but not always very good. And then you had La Petite Bande, the small band. They were the best ones, and they would just do the difficult things and the official things. So that was Leonhardt said, let's call it La Petite Bande. It was very good because we played Lully. It was exactly the very good name. I had never thought about it. And then we went home, and then 1 year later they wanted one more recording of other French music. So we did Compra, Le Robe Galante, and again after that, well, they had the name already. We had La Petite Bande, the name was already given. But even then I thought it was occasionally, I thought, bye-bye, see you next year or never. And then 1 year later they said, we want one more recording. And then Leonhardt said to me, oh, you do it, you can do it by yourself. I'm not free, or I'm not interested so much in having orchestra, because he saw I could do. So I did myself. We did Mufat and Mufat, the whole recording of Mufat concerti and also dances. And after that, there was the third recording. I started to understand that in fact there was an orchestra which existed since 2 years. But we only had done one thing every year, without any future idea, no strategy. I had never said, I want my orchestra. Mine.
So first you didn't think it's...
Yeah, and only after the third recording, I thought, well, if it's like this, we could also go on. So then I started to propose, let's do Corelli, Concerti Grossi and this and this. So from then on, it started to exist on purpose. But before, no. But we say it existed from the first recording, so 1972. So next year is 50 years.
Yeah, so it's like, wow, so you did the small steps and then you go on and go on. Until now, it's already almost 50 years.
The Summer Academy is something we decided only quite recently. We never did it long ago. But first time we did it was already here, like 10 years ago. But it was not called La Petite Bande Summer Academy. It was just a course, no name. And it was mainly to do already the opera gesticulation and the drama and the movements for the opera in Marie. And of course I did also instrumental things. And then I think only after 2 years we decided to give the name La Petite Bande Summer Academy.
And this year is a bit special because this year we performance more like Baroque music, like Telemann and Bach Overture and opera from
Hasse.
In
the other time we started with later music. We started like 7-8 years ago with more Mozart, Haydn, opera, more the classical style, and also instrumentally we played Mozart, piano concerto, violin concerto thing, and string quartets, string quintets, or divertimento with winds and so on. This is the first time we do the Baroque, because many people asked us, why don't you do Baroque? And we thought, well, yeah, why not? And it's easier for the wind, because many wind players don't have the classical oboe or classical flute, they have the baroque.
Thank you. And the activities of early music were developed in Europe, and also it's growing in Taiwan now. So there are different styles in every country and also in different area. So what is the most important things for you in terms of playing early music?
Well, it is the most important thing for me is we should not create a school. Just stay in contact with the old sources, so, but not try to imitate other masters or form a separate school. What is important to me is the score. The score, and then you have to develop the way of reading the score. Yeah, it's not about diploma or The Hague or Basel or Brussels or Leipzig. It's okay, but the thing is you have to be in contact with the. First of all, what do we have of Mozart? We have the score. What do we have of Bach? We have the score. Yes. And then you have to read that, you have to try to understand, you have to learn how you read the score. Yes. My brother's book, Bartol's book, the notation is not the music. The notation is only the notation. Yes. So you have to know how you read the notation. French music, in Couperin, if they like the pa-pa-pa-pa, it means ta-pa-ta-pa-ta. Yeah. It's not very logic, but it is like that. Yeah. So you have to be able to read the score in the right way. And that you can do by yourself. You don't have to go to learn with a professor in university or the conservatory.
Yeah, because many people maybe they doesn't know how to play this music, how to perform this music, because they see the score and they think, this is the way I have to. But if you read the original books, and now there are so many publications about the theory books of a method of violin playing, of particle playing, organ playing, wind playing, and you will always read these kind of general things. If you read Quantz, you will know a lot of things also about violin playing, not only flute. Yes. And if you read or Leopold Mozart, it's not about only violin. You read that and you remember and you compare, you put together. And then gradually you will see that earlier methods will say different things, and you develop yourself. Of course, you can go to school as well, but it's not necessary. Yes, okay.
The best for me is learn yourself. Yeah. And now it's not so difficult with internet and all the possibilities of reading even methods on IMSRP. Yes, it's very easy. You don't have to go to the library. When we were young, we had to write to the library in Scotland or in America or in Italy to have microfilm. We had to wait 5 weeks until it came, then you had to print and then we could read. Yeah. Now, today it's very, very easy. But of course, I'm kidding. You can go to school, but be conscious about one thing. Don't just do because the teacher says. You have to control with what you think is the most valuable source. And that is the thing. Even if the teacher says something else, perhaps you know better. Not always, but it might be. Teacher is only a teacher. And also me, I'm not. I don't know everything, but I'm open to things that I don't know. I say, oh, interesting.